Today I want to talk to you about the difference between a condominium, a condo, and or an apartment building or an apartment unit. The main difference is this. Now, when it comes to physical attributes, they're both pretty much the same thing. You got a unit in a condo, you got a unit in an apartment complex. You rent them out, not a big deal. They both are very, very similar. Bedrooms, baths, square footage, all that good stuff. Now, the main difference, of course, then is the ownership. Who owns these complexes? Who owns the units? When it comes to an apartment typically is owned by a huge corporation. It can be owned by a single entity or one person, but typically it could be owned by a huge corporation, several units under one umbrella of this apartment complex, not a big deal. When it comes to a condominium, it is typically owned by one entity, one person, which is managed by an HOA, which stands for Homeowners Association. They govern the complex. The homeowner owns the unit, however. Now, let's ask ourselves, what is an HOA? What is a homeowners association? Now, every condominium complex, and I'm talking a huge complex, some of them have 10 units, some of them have 20, heck, some of them have 50. Depending on the size of the complexes, there's several units in these complexes. Several little apartments, they look like apartments, but they're actual individual units. When it comes to the cost of a condominium or an apartment unit, they're very similar, again, depending on the location. Depending on the bedrooms, number of baths, square footage, all that they're similar, and of course they'll have very similar costs. Now, when it comes to the homeowners association, it's a government, it's almost a small government that's going to manage the entire complex, collect the fees of the entire complex, make up the rules and regulations for this entire complex. So what is the HOA? Homeowner association? Each individual homeowner in this condominium complex pays their fees to make sure all of these items are covered. Typically, the HOA fees would include the maintenance of the building. They would include insurance for the building, the exterior of the building, not inside the units, but the exterior. So it includes maintenance. It would include insurance. It would include maintenance of the pool, and if they have a gym, things of that nature. So by paying all these homeowners association dues every single month, they're all covered for the homeowner. So how does homeowners association dues affect a listing? This is huge in the real estate world. This is very, very huge. This is the deal. Let's assume you get a listing. Yeah, I get a listing here in Westwood, California, Los Angeles. The listing is for $1 million. So you say, yay, that's great. So you have a buyer who's interested. A buyer, of course, typically will get a home loan. So he gets his home loan, and his lender tells him, hey, listen, if you want to get a loan for $1 million, your payment's going to be, let's assume, for the sake of argument, it's going to be $5,000 per month. Yay, that's good. But you didn't consider the homeowners association due that's going to be due every single month. So on top of the $5,000, there are some homeowner association dues that can go up to $2,000 per month. So you would have to pay the $5,000 on your mortgage plus the additional $2,000 for the homeowner association dues every single month. That's quite of a drastic change there. That's $7,000 total. You didn't expect that extra $2,000, did you? This is why it's very important that when you do get a home loan, you must make certain that you know the amount of the homeowner association dues so that you can inform who? That's right, your lender. And they will take that payment of the homeowner association dues into consideration when they're giving you the monthly payment that you qualify for. Most people want a very low homeowner association dues, but some of them are very, very high. But because they are very, very high, you do get a lot more rewards. Bigger pool maybe, bigger amenities. Some of them even have valet services for you. So of course, depending on the location, the type of complex, expect the fees to go from very minimal to large.